What's going on everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Oman and today's analysis video is going to be about the Premier League game between Arsenal and Manchester United. So Arsenal line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation which often shifted to 3-2-4-1 with possession. Xhaka often dropped in the defense with possession while Kolasinac moved up to create an overload on the left flank with the help of Aubameyang. And Niles moved to the midfield to replace Xhaka. So Arsenal had one temporary left back and one inverted fullback with possession. While Manchester United on the other hand also lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation which mostly shifted to 4-4-2 without possession, with Daniel James and Jesse Lingard dropping in the midfield without possession. Pep Guardiola is known for utilizing inverted fullbacks during the build-up phase to get the numerical advantage in the midfield. And we saw a mixture of inverted fullbacks and temporary fullbacks in Arsenal's playing style today, which we haven't seen so far this season. So this is how the two teams were set up on the ground. Arsenal's 4-2-3-1 formation against Manchester United's 4-2-3-1. Whenever Arsenal had possession, Manchester United tried to settle in a 4-4-2 formation. Aubameyang was constantly moving to the central zone and he was trying to pull Wan-Bissaka narrow. Aubameyang's central runs were creating spaces on the left flank for the run of Kolasinac. Kolasinac played really half the ground in this game, and he was constantly trying to create the overload against Wan-Bissaka. Whenever Kolasinac moved to create the overload on the left flank, Xhaka immediately dropped at the left back position. Xhaka played as a temporary left back, but that left the spaces open at Xhaka's position in the midfield. And this is where the inverted fullback came into play, which was Niles. Niles moved to the midfield and he played as the inverted fullback, and Arsenal had a formation of 3-2-4-1 with possession. Aubameyang moves narrow and he opens the space for the run of Kolasinac to move up and create the overload. Xhaka drops at the temporary left back position and he makes a back three with possession, while Niles has moved to the midfield. Aubameyang takes away Wan-Bissaka and that leaves Kolasinac totally free on the left flank. David Luiz easily picks Kolasinac and Manchester United's midfield is easily taken out. Now the question is that what was the benefit of this temporary left back and inverted fullback? Without a temporary left back, Daniel James could have easily dropped in the defense to track the runs of Kolasinac. But when Xhaka moved to the temporary left back position, it forced Daniel James to make a decision. Daniel James either had to step out to press Xhaka, or he could have dropped in the defense to track the runs of Kolasinac. If Daniel James decides to track the run of Kolasinac, then he gives time and space to Xhaka. And if he steps out to press Xhaka, then he leaves Wan-Bissaka in a 1v2 position against Aubameyang and Kolasinac. And this is why most of the times Daniel James was caught in no man's land and he was neither pressing Xhaka nor tracking Kolasinac. And when Xhaka moved in the defense, it gave Manchester United the numbers advantage in the midfield. So in order to neutralize the numbers advantage in the midfield, Niles moved from the fullback position to the midfield. And thus Arsenal had 3v3 in the midfield and two overloads on the left flank, one with Xhaka and Kolasinac and one with Kolasinac and Aubameyang. Once again, same overload on the left flank, Xhaka moves to the left back position and that keeps Daniel James engaged, leaving Kolasinac totally free to exploit the wide space on the left flank. David Luiz again easily picks Kolasinac and he eliminates Manchester United's midfield line. Again, Manchester United's midfield is easily taken out and Arsenal now have 5v4 to attack Manchester United's backline. Both David Luiz and Xhaka did an amazing job in this game. They were given the role of playing long passes to Kolasinac, who was constantly trying to create an overload against Wan-Bissaka with the help of Aubameyang. David Luiz played 10 accurate long passes and Xhaka played 6 accurate long passes in this game, and they were easily eliminating Manchester United's midfield line to give Arsenal the numbers advantage in the final third. We saw a glimpse of Arsenal's well-organized high press against Chelsea. Arsenal went with an aggressive high press against Chelsea in the first half, but then they didn't have the energy to match Chelsea in the second half. So in this game, Arsenal started with an aggressive high press, but after 10 to 15 minutes, they decided to settle in a mid-block. And they gave more attention to cutting the passing lanes than closing down the man in possession. Nice compact high press from Arsenal with a very high defensive line. Lacazette and Ozil are cutting the passing lanes and they are forcing Maguire to go long. Harry Maguire forced to go long and Arsenal easily win possession as the ball goes out of play. But as the game progressed, Arsenal decided to sit back in a mid-block. and instead of closing down the man in possession, they tried to cut the passing lanes through the central zone. Strong central overload blocking the central passing lanes, and Manchester United are now forced to play sideway passes or go long. Because of that strong central overload, Manchester United midfielders were often forced to drop in their own defense as they weren't getting any passes through the centre zone. This tactic of sitting in a mid-block and cutting the centre passing lanes was working very nicely for Arsenal. Both David Luiz and Sokratis won 100% of their aerial duels, while Martial and Rashford couldn't win even a single aerial duel. So this approach of sitting and creating a strong central overload was working well for Arsenal. And whenever Manchester United decided to go long, Arsenal had the possession back in no time. Just like Kolasinac and Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe and Ozil were constantly trying to isolate Luke Shaw in a 2v1 position. And Luke Shaw was not getting any defensive support from Marcus Rashford, and thus he was often left in a 1v2 position. Once again, no defensive support for Luke Shaw, who is once again left in a 1v2 position. Nicolas Pepe gave a really tough time to Luke Shaw in this game, and he was constantly trying to pull Luke Shaw out of his defensive line to open the spaces in Manchester United's defense. Pepe drops deep, and he pulls Luke Shaw out of his defensive line to open the space for the run of Ozil. Mikel Arteta has brought a clear change in Arsenal's playing style. They look compact in their pressing, and they also look very well organized both with and without the ball. And of course, the positional manipulation to get the numbers advantage in different areas of the ground was a joy to watch. While for Manchester United, they looked completely lost both with and without the ball, with no clear game plan. Thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.